and we passed one of the two capital improvements that came through EAC last night. So it was a productive meeting.
For political affairs chair, I am proposing an election rules amendment type of thing later on today. For president-elect, our executive board will hopefully be approved today. And we're having our first meeting next Tuesday.
So the House 100th annual 100th celebration for next year. The date has been set as April 10th from 3 to 5, so we're going to get the ball rolling on that. Other than that, I'm going to be working with Wendy pretty soon. We're going to have a meeting that we can get the HUSC executive board retreat. Other than that, that's all I got.
I just have two little things. First of all, Rachel and I found 3 different waffle makers for the HUSC relay team, so we should be set on those. I'm not sure, we might still need some things from the Google Drive I set up. So if people could sign up with their name for things that they want to bring, that'd be awesome. And then, as always, we still need more people to sign up for the team. And then the only other thing, we have our first committee meeting for the search committee to find the new vice president of business, finance, and technology. The first meeting is this Thursday.
New vice president of finance.
Senior vice president of business, finance, and technology.
She'll be back.
Okay. Jeremiah.
At our last meeting, we kind of went over a few different capital improvements. One of them came forward from HUSC, which we approved and referred to EAC, and also 2 full capital improvements came forward from the ITSS. We approved part of it, and the other half is being worked on right now by represented by Greg, and we're also working on a few other different capital improvements. That's all for me.
For those who have not received the email information, we're not doing jackets, there wasn't enough interest. PRC for my folk, we're not having our meeting today, but please come see me for posters. And I'll just keep pushing. The Hamlin Trustees Open Forum is next Monday at 11:30 in Anderson 111. So make sure to have that on your calendar to go to that and be looking at some questions to ask and things to talk about. It's a really, really unique and good experience. Yeah.
Alex.
Beyond the form that I created with the help of Lucas, and we'll be pushing that out in the upcoming weeks, I have no report.
Keep going. Wendy.
Just to let you all know, anyone is invited to tomorrow's auditions for the senior speaker. The finalists for the senior speaker are Yakasa Wei, Anne-Marie Sketch, Kevin Yang, and Taylor Williams. So anyone's invited to come to the hub area at 4:30 tomorrow and listen to each of these give their talks and then weigh in with their own evaluation on paper that the committee will use in making the final decision for senior speaker. So I hope to see some of you there.
Arrange yourselves accordingly for us to like the proper.
Alex.
Okay, so here is next year's hopefully executive board, with an exception of our treasurer, or hopefully treasurer Dan Oliver. Obviously, he's not in the continent right now; he's in Africa. We kind of had an exception for an application in the process with that, so he is good to go with approval of Wendy for that process. So I'll just introduce each have a little speech. We'll be voting individually on each of them, so you're all here just for moral support, so that they don't come down one by one. But the voting will be separate. So La Tao is going to be our technology coordinator for next year. He has a lot of experience with all of that stuff, and we're very excited. Tate will be our PAC chair. Doesn't he fit the personality well? So I'm excited. Evelyn will be our secretary. She brought no cards, so that's her organizational abilities. Lincoln will be our EAC chair. He came to his interview with a 5-page budget of what he did for ROTC, which impressed us greatly. Taylor, she's going to be our PRC chair. She has the marketing intern right now, and so she is obviously has capabilities. Colleen, she's a sucker for moral support. She was voted in by DER for the being DER chair. Alex will be our SAC chair. He has a lot of influence with all the boards and a knowledge of them, so we're excited with his capabilities with that. Now they'll each give a little introduction, and then we'll vote on them individually.
Hi, my name is Lao Tao, and I'm your technology coordinator. So throughout HUSC, I've been doing some videos, and I'm good with making videos of showing what students are capable of, what HUSC is about.
So I vote to approve La Tao as our technology coordinator for next year.
Second.
Alex, you have priority for whatever person to talk to.
Okay.
To ask a question. Wow.
Ask a question?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you had it.
Okay. I have comments, but not questions.
That works too.
Okay.
It's discussion.
Okay. So, as current technology coordinator, I highly recommend La Tao. He's worked with me extensively this semester with working on videos for us on PRC, and working with me to record all the videos of General Assembly. I see him being capable of all the roles and obligations of technology coordinator, and have no doubt in my mind that he can fulfill his obligations.
Any other questions?
Questions or comments?
All right, we'll go ready for vote then. Well, you're the only person that can't vote. No one can vote for themselves, just real quick. All in favor of approving La Tao as the technology coordinator? Okay, all opposed? Congratulations. Your responsibility. Okay,
When I first came to Hamlin on a tour, I was lucky enough to meet with the Vice President, Corbin. The meeting that was supposed to take 20 minutes ended up lasting for an hour. And after I left that day, I knew that there was 2 things that I had agreed on. 1, I was going to be a piper, and 2, I was going to be in HUSC. Over the last year, I've served with hard work and dedication to my position as the Heights representative, and I wish to continue to serve on HUSC as the Political Affairs Committee Chair over the next year. I'll bring my hard work, my perspective, and my voice to the Lester's Exec Board.
Yeah, I guess first comment. Tate has attended every single PAC meeting that we've had, offering valid solutions, even offering problems with solutions how to fix those problems. He has the experience needed. I'm very confident in his capabilities and obviously his speech and everything. I mean, I'm just impressed, so we're good.
all right, any other comments?
I just want to clarify the voting procedure here, whether or not it's only the HUSC Council who votes on approval. I just want
I only count the HUSC council.
I just want people to know what the procedure is.
I have full trust in Tate. I've seen him work very hard in PAC when I've been a PAC in DER and when he has been in EX. So I have full confidence that he will perform way great. I don't know how to say it, but he'll do a great job.
Other questions?
I vote to approve Ted as the PAC chair for next year.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Congratulations, Pat, you're down.
Sorry, I prepared. So during the past academic school year, I've been lucky enough to serve as the HUSC first-year representative. And during this time, I've done research on potential capital improvements. I've spoken with administration about the book rental program, and I've helped plan and organize the HUSC presidential debate with Kate and Kyle. Though I've enjoyed my time as representative, I believe that as a member of the 2014-2015 executive board, I will no longer be a voice for the companies for students. And as secretary of Hamlin University Student Congress, I will do my best to keep HUSC and our projects organized and focused. Additionally, I plan to attend as many board of elected representative meetings and committee meetings as possible to fully understand the prospects of each project. Some of my main focuses will be tightening the communication barrier between students and administration, exploring the idea of an established career committee, and working with a wide range of students to join meetings. And if I'm approved, I will work really closely with everybody on it. Motion first.
Motion to approve, Evelyn.
Second.
Evelyn is great. She has worked really hard this past year as a first-year representative. She volunteered for so many different things on the Congress. So as current secretary, I think she'll be a great secretary.
Other questions? All right, so we'll go straight, all in favor of approving Ellen as the secretary? All opposed? Congratulations. Lincoln.
Hi, I'm Lincoln. I'm a math major and econ major. I take a lot of finance courses, so I'm very, very numbers oriented, which is something that's important for the econ. I'm also an RTC cadet, so I have a lot of leadership and fellowship experience. And then I have experience making budgets through several different organizations that I've been treasurer of, as well as RTC, like she was talking about. And I'm the current treasurer of HUSC, so I've had the chance to sort of see how the university works. We're not in charge, HUSC isn't in charge of this because we're a sports club, but nevertheless, I do have experience with that.
Motion to approve Lincoln as the PAC chair.
Discussion. Craig, you have priority?
I have full trust that Alyssa made the right choice. I don't know you, but hearing what you just said, I'm fully confident that you can perform the duties of EAC. I just had a quick question. If you do become the EAC, would you drop the position as treasurer in HUSC, or?
Yeah, we already had elections. I didn't run again, so I'm not.
No further questions.
I would just like to know your last name.
Shoot.
Can you spell it for me, sir?
SCHMIDT.
Seeing no more questions, comments, I will go straight to the vote. All in favor of approving Lincoln? Okay, all opposed?
Okay. Hi, my name is Taylor Riddell. I wrote a little something here just because I want to be able to make sure that I communicate this. It's been a very hectic week, so I thought I'd write it down to make sure that I cover everything. But I am a sophomore double majoring in marketing and creative writing with a minor in media arts. I would like to say that I'm both pleased and honored to have been offered the position for PRC. When I first heard about the available position, I knew that this could be my vehicle to make a positive impact on the social climate of campus. And I really want to boost the students' awareness and participation in HUSC activities. I believe I can achieve this goal by using what I've learned in my studies here at Hamlin, as well as my role as a marketing communications intern here at the Public Relations Office. to fully with that. I've been mentored and instructed on how to reach large target audiences via personal and social media channels and how to utilize all public resources to their fullest. I have a passion for marketing and advertising and a drive to find creative and fresh means of communication with people en masse. I'm very excited to add my efforts and strengths to better facilitate the needs of the undergraduate community. I want to boost awareness, acknowledge the issues, and take action against them. I look forward to working with each and every one of you.
Motion to approve Taylor as PRC chair.
Second.
Discussion. Rachel, do you have further?
I don't know you personally, Taylor, but I just have faith in Alyssa's ability to pick her executive board, so she really will.
Other questions?
She's amazing. So, I'm excited.
Awesome. All right, so no more questions or discussion. We'll go straight to the vote. All in favor? All opposed? Congratulations.
All right, next, my name is Alex Abraha. I'm a social justice major, concentration in conflict resolution, and I'm minor in nonprofit management. And so, I wanted to be in this role because I didn't think it was about taking leadership. I thought it was a role to be in support of Hamlin student orgs. And I want to be a good resource and support that way for the student orgs to thrive so that the voice can be heard and that connection could be made. And even into our community. That's what I wanted to achieve. But I've also served on voice of inclusion on campus, such as diversity, community, and trust and respect, the American Native Advisory Committee, and assisting in creating and implementing academic diversity guest lectures and cultural workshops, and interactive class activities to infuse diversity into the academic curriculum. And also engaging the Hamlet community in meaningful discourse about topics related to diversity and multiculturalism and social justice. And so I think that bringing all that together will make me good.
Motion to approve Alex as a stock chair.
Second.
Discussion.
Well, I would just like to say that Alex has done a lot of programming for the West Pacific semester, and he also has a lot of connections to different departments around across campus, which I think is really helpful with this position, especially because you're having to do some programming for all orgs, and he has a lot of knowledge about the resources that are available here at Hamlin.
Any other questions? All right, straight to the vote. All in favor, approving Alex as stock chair? All opposed? Congratulations. Dan apparently won't be allowed to speak for himself. Is there any discussion? Is more comments? So Jenny, Lucas, Alex, Jeremiah.
Dan was a representative this last semester, so he's been well with HUSC before. He's held other positions as well. Sorry.
For the first time, Steven wants to talk, so let him.
Speak your word.
I've known Dan for 3 years, I guess. I worked with him sophomore year when I was a treasurer for RHA, and he was treasurer for the Heights Hall Council. He did a great job, and he's always been involved, and there's no doubt in my mind that he won't do a great job next year. So.
Lucas?
Dan's been a good friend and coworker of mine for a long time. In the middle of my first year, when I was put on the executive board after someone was fired and someone graduated, Dan was also appointed to the executive board as a SOC chair as a first year. At the same time, he was hired as an RA because his RA got fired. So in his first year, he was an RA and the SOC chair, and he was also the treasurer of the Soren Hall Council. He's been a representative then ever since that year was over. He's one of the best leaders on campus. I have no doubt that he'll do the job, and he'll be a good veteran voice for what is a board made up of a lot of fresh faces.
Alex, Jeremiah, then Greg.
I yield my time to the chair.
I've had a chance of working with Dan when I was in Hall Council. My freshman year, he did a great job as store and treasurer. And then I had a chance of working with him also my sophomore year when I was on programming board. And he also did a great job with that of keeping tabs on each and every single person that he hired, making sure that the balance is checked. And he did a wonderful job. I've also worked with him as a representative for about 2 years, so no doubt in my mind that he's not going to do a good job.
Can someone speak to his accounting skills?
I don't know him on a personal level like everyone else does, but we were in EAC together, and he really was super accountable, and he knew a lot what he was doing about.
Dan has served on the programming board in a variety of roles, and in those roles he's had either an individual budget for his committee that he's had to manage, or in his most recent role as the senior programmer in the programming board, he is really the main person working right with the professional staff member, and that group has a very sizable budget that they're managing in order to do some of the major programs that happen on campus, including homecoming week, fireball, end of the year party. So you can just kind of guess that they're dealing with more than, I want to throw their actual budget out there, but they're dealing with a very sizable student fee funded budget, and he has been great in staying on top of not just his peers, but also continuing to communicate with his staff supervisor on budget and fiscal management. So he's been great with that.
I just want to say that I don't know him as like accounting. I've never experienced that with him, but like with what he said, he's had experience with programming board and running those budgets. Also, for the treasurer, you need to be really integrated in student orgs and really involved with them and focused on them. And we feel Dan has that, especially with his experience like with the Student Development Center and things like that, where he knows the resources available to him and he knows how to get in contact with them. Just very important, for me, just as important as the accounting aspect of it. So along with his experience with the accounting aspect, he also has experience with the student orgs, with the Student Development Center, all those things which will really make him a great treasurer.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you. Secondly, I see a focus toward the students on campus as far as this group goes, but who focuses on the non-traditional students as far as these positions go, and the students that might not come to HUSC? They're non-traditional commuter students. Is that, I see a focus like toward the people that are here on campus rather than the overall.
Right now, the motion on the table is for Dan Molitor to be approved as the treasurer. I'm just curious if this is relevant to that, or maybe you could tie it to the point.
When you said something about treasurer, I'm asking for just to find out, I see here a focus on the students here on campus rather than, a representative outside, maybe for the non-traditional students. I don't know anything about the treasurer.
I understand what you're saying, but right now we're debating a motion, and the discussion is supposed to be kept relevant to the motion.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I just asked this if I could ask a question, so I think that's pretty relevant.
I'll just respond to it quickly. Evelyn is a first-year student. She doesn't live on campus at all. She was a commuter you had to ride the bus and stuff to campus every day. So she definitely knows the struggles of a commuter student. Also in her interview, she wants to set up a commuter committee to maybe have the possibility of creating a commuter rep or a commuter space. So I definitely think she will be a vital role with the non-traditional commuter students.
Any other questions?
I just have one comment. I don't think none of them are specifically focused on students that are only coming to HUSC. Three of these members have never been in HUSC before, and I think that's what we're trying to expect to reach out to other students that are not necessarily coming to HUSC. And like, for example, Alex is a transfer student, and he kind of knows how to bring in people because it's a struggle for any transfer student to get involved. So I don't think none of these people are specifically just only trying to target students, traditional students.
Great.
I was talking to you because I talked with Lucas. He told me that in programming board he was somewhat the treasurer too, so that pretty much responds to my question. I was a committee member with Dan last year, and he was in my committee the first semester. He's a great worker. I have no doubts that he's going to perform very well. Just kind of going back to the initial motion of, of whether or not Dan Molitor should be appointed as the treasurer of the student congress.
Any other questions?
And motion in discussion.
All in favor of the discussion? All opposed? Discussion is closed. Now on to the vote. All in favor of approving Dan Molitor as the treasurer for HUSC? Raise your hand. Come on, get your hand. All opposed? All right, Dan's the treasurer.
All right, congratulations to everyone. I just wanted to let everyone know what we're kind of looking at now with this. Everyone now for HUSC's executive board, HUSC Jennings executive board next year has been confirmed. That doesn't mean that you've taken over the position yet. We're looking at now, we'd like to see a pretty good and intensive transition period with, I'm expecting all of my current board members to work with and apprentice the new members and show them the ropes. We've got some formal setups where we're going to work on this, but I'd also like for you individual members to work with one another to try and set some things up. Alyssa and I have been doing this already since she's been elected. On another note, last year some of the members just kind of, as soon as this happened, dropped and kind of put their work onto the next person, and so I don't want anyone to do that until May 13th when we'll officially transition. So I just wanted to let everyone know that. And also as a side note, Miko, all of the new people who were just approved that are not currently members of HUSC should be added to the roll call as voting members. So that would be Taylor, Lincoln, Alex. Am I missing anyone?
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
So just to clarify, because they're obviously all new members of HUSC, that means you should be attending GA every Tuesday during this time.
On the next business. Lucas, are you going to introduce?
Yeah, I can do this. We're doing the Vice President Business Committee? All right. Alright, so one of the things we focused on a lot this year is trying to get a more of a role for students in having a voice within the administration, within committees on campus. I'd like to think that's part of the reason why President Hansen came to Dean Sickford asking for a student to be on the new search committee for Vice President of Business, Finance, and Technology. So for people more unaware, Doug Anderson, who's the current Vice President, and has been here for a long time, is retiring this year, effective sometime this summer. And so there's been a committee brought to find his replacement. And in line with one of our roles of appointing students to these committees, I'd like to nominate Stephen Lutz as our representative on this committee. I think that as a treasurer of HUSC and as a business student, he would be an ideal candidate for this. So if anyone has any question for him, he is my nominee for this committee.
Is there any discussion? Or Stephen be nominated to the committee?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll go straight to the vote. It's a 2/3 majority. All in favor of approving Stephen?
Was there a motion? Okay.
So all in favor of approving Stephen to the search committee for the Hamlin's next Vice President of Business, Finance, and Technology. I didn't hear it. All opposed? Congratulations, Stephen. You're being helpful.
Just a comment, since Stephen is such a kind of a, no one's going to argue against him there, we didn't maybe have as much of a discussion as we, but I just want to impress upon everyone that I think this is a very important thing, and that last year, 2 years ago, when the provost was being hired, there was no student involvement in the search committee at all, and I think that's kind of a tragedy. So I think we're moving in the right direction here, and hopefully next year you guys can push for the same type of thing. Thank you.
Next up is Captain Gregory.
I'm back.
Greg, are you presenting with a representative or just?
I am presenting what was presented in EAC. If Amin wants to come downstairs as a representative who did this, I'll present. Okay. So, again, we saw this last week. We, as of right now, still have $43,000, $485. It's right there. I made some slight adjustments to the capital improvement allocated usage. I don't know if that's the best way to word it, but it's kind of split into what has come through EAC of the money we are thinking about spending. So this pie chart is a total of the money we are spending, or we are thinking about spending. I don't know if there's any questions. There was some questions in the past. Yeah.
My question, just quick clarification, is 100% equal to the total improvement fund or the total spending?
The total spending.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? All right. So this is the help desk capital improvement. It's a total of $2,975, which is 6.84% of the total capital improvement fund that we have. The items will be loans and giveaways. I can elaborate a little bit on that. We have done this before. HUSC has bought things to the help desk to give them away or to lend them, like projectors, converters, yada yada yada. Yeah, and something in idea we could put our name on. So, like the newest projector could have like the HUSC logo on it, which would be pretty darn cool. This is the help desk capital improvement usage. So another pie chart. Any questions?
Yes, can you go over specifically these items would be lent out to students?
Yes, the majority of them bought the coax cables, which are the cables you connect to the TV. So this is something that people, I don't know if you know that, Alex, that people at the beginning of the year come to the help desk, hey guys, you have a cable to connect to the TV, and we unfortunately don't have them. So we have Ethernet cables for internet, you know, if the internet breaks or something. But this is something that we can give on behalf of HUSC at the help desk, and this has all been approved by Kip Mansky, who's the director of the ITS help desk. Yeah, the Apple TV will be loaned out and will be open to work anywhere. I don't know if, yeah. No, this is requested by Amin. This is well.
It was brought up as a suggestion from Greg. I went over it and talked about it in EAC. I went over it with me and Greg, then we talked about it in EAC, then we brought it to PER, and now it's here.
Well, actually, we talked about it in EAC, then went to BER, then back to EAC, and it's here now.
What are the actual staff members of the help desk, or the one staff member? I don't know. What does your boss think about it?
Yeah, he said that it was a great idea and that we have done this before.
Kind of to go off that, right? Like, so like the help desk has a lot of equipment to be lent out to students, but a lot of it's really old, right? A lot of it hasn't been updated. IT doesn't really have the funds necessary to purchase the stuff for students at all. Because the higher ups and IT have no really obligation to buy new equipment for students to loan out. And kind of to talk, like, the projectors we have are very old and are almost archaic. We don't have, there's no iPad that can be actually lent out to student orgs or students in general. There's an iPad cart, but that is restricted strictly to staff members and faculty members. Coax cables, individuals always come down to get cables, but we don't have them. And then the adapters and Apple TV are just new resources for the help desk to loan out.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just question, like, would you think the iPad would be used for just like, I don't know, like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to explain like what would the iPad be used
So
for?
the iPad will be loaned out for like individual projects. It will be loaded with like all the Apple suite of products like iMovie, iPhoto, GarageBand. We do have students every once in a while who come, hey, can we rent out an iPad? And we always have to tell them no, because these are only for faculty and staff to take them out. So it will be like a nice addition to lend it out to the student population.
I was just gonna actually address that. If students will be able to like rent out the iPad or whatever, and this is something that we talked about earlier in the year doing, but also just buying them and keeping it. And I think this is a great solution where people can go to IT and just be like, I need to use the iPad for the day or whatever. And I think students will really use it.
One of the initial questions that I got from, that I got is, why is the projector so expensive? It's $1,500. The quick answer is because this projector is never going to have to be replaced. This projector a couple of years ago broke. The light bulb broke. It's $800 to replace it, just a light bulb. So we don't have ever to replace that light bulb, ever. And it's recommended by Brian Johnson. I was looking at a $300 one. He told me, don't buy that. That's going to break in a year or two.
Quick question, I'm not sure if we covered this in our video meeting, but is the iPad available for faculty and staff to rent or no?
No.
They already have an iPad.
That's what I was
with like 20 iPads. So.
Oh yeah, no, because we talked about it in our
Yeah.
meeting. I remember we were debating about whether or not some of these things should be available for faculty and staff to rent. And I
The
remember at the end
adapters
of the
though
discussion,
are
we
going to
said
be for
yes.
everyone, but the iPad is going to be for students.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It was the Apple TV then. Right.
Yes. I motion to approve, EAC. It was late. I motion to approve 2,975, 6.84% of our total capital improvement fund. Yeah,
Second.
thank you. It didn't sound right.
We had plenty of discussion, but if there's any last comments, otherwise we'll move straight to the vote. Alex?
So, question, if the iPads are damaged, you guys have, will there be insurance on it? Applicant.
There is a year of Apple Care, and there is also the ID.
Okay. Seeing no further questions, we'll move straight to the vote. All in favor of approving the capital improvement for $2,975. Please raise your hand. All opposed? Motion passes. I'm happy now.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on the election rules thing that we talked about last week, but this is actual formal document now. Here's the resolution. Whereas the election rules govern the spring and fall election, whereas the election rules need to be updated, whereas some of the specific election rules are ambiguous, whereas the proposed election rules are clearer, whereas candidates will better understand the election rules, therefore be it resolved we vote on the proposed election rules, be it further resolved we pass the proposed election rules. So this is almost the same document that we saw last week. I'll just highlight some things that we changed. Obviously, it's not going to be 50 and 30 anymore. It's just going to be one fund of $80. non-official candidate or elected representatives will spend $25 of their own funds. Candidates must submit a list of people in their campaign organization to PAC by the date campaigning begins. Candidates must submit any new members as they join the campaign organization. The posting policy includes electronic advertisements, which are the TVs around campus. Campaign material must be at least 25 feet away from the balloting stations. We took out, trying to find it, each candidate team must meet with the HUSC advisor prior to the start of elections. We took out that clause where they can't run for an academic purpose. We just created another subdivision so that each candidate team has to meet with Wendy, who will have her own distinction of a contract or something to fulfill that. I motion we pass.
Second. All right, discussion, please.
I just want to be clear. Are we passing the amendment? Or are we referring
We're
it to?
referring them to PAC.
All right. Are we gonna change the motion then?
Yeah, do I motion to amend?
Just.
Okay, I motion to refer this proposed amendment to PAC.
Discussion. I don't have anything to add as when I met with Kane's class. The clause about people not being allowed to run for academic purpose is the one that they did not like. So, seeing as that's no longer an issue,
I still don't like the idea of people running for as part of a class, but I'm okay with the idea of taking it out of here, not because I think it's something we should encourage and approve of and think is a really great thing for our university and student congress, but I think by not including it in there, we're saying that we trust in the students to make the right decision. We trust in the students to elect people who are actually going to do the job and actually passionate about doing the job. So I think that by doing this, we're by no means endorsing the idea of people running as part of a class project, but we're reaffirming faith in the students to make the right decision, and I think that happens this year. So with that, I'd encourage a vote for this.
Other discussions or comments? Excellent, then we'll move straight to the vote. All in favor of referring the election rules proposal to PAC? All opposed? Cool, election rules pass. All right, open forum, let's move this.
Oh, okay. So trustee forum next Monday at 11:30. Is that right? Okay, 11:30. Anderson 111. I'm actually going to be meeting with Jane this afternoon to go over some details, but that's really the most important thing. 11:30 HUSC forum. 2 trustees. Anderson 111. We're not going to try to control what people are saying, and that's not our goal. We're not going to have one set topic. We want people to feel free and open to be able to go and express their concerns, share their experiences. But we do want to try and frame the discussion around types of issues that trustees can actually control. Like, this is the famous thing if you ever go to the 100 Who Influenced dinner of people raise different concerns, and they'll say, well, that's a decision made by the administration, meaning President Hansen on down, versus something that's made by the trustees. And so things that trustees deal with is things like the tuition, decisions to build new buildings, or, for example, one thing that's been delayed on the agenda is new housing. What is the status of the new housing? New academic programs, that comes through the faculty, but ultimately the funding comes through the trustees. Things like that. So when we introduce the event, we're going to try and encourage people to just engage with those types of issues, but trustees are professional people. That if someone just wants to complain and attack them or something like that, there's really not a lot we can do about it. I would encourage people that are in this room right now to try and come up with thoughtful questions in terms of so that we don't go there and there's just complete silence. because that's the last thing we want to happen. So if everyone here could just try to come up with at least one good question, that would be maybe a fallback when if we get there, just to start things off, get the ball rolling. Also, try to tell as many people as you can about the event. I think we've done a good job so far, but we want to make sure that we really get people out to this because I think it is important. I guess if people have questions or if we just want to discuss a little bit, I think that would be a good idea.
Before we go into like discussion questions, Wendy and Alan, you guys both provided some really good framework questions when we were at executive board last week and the week prior to that. So if you could kind of reiterate some of the questions, I have some.
I'm not sure that the one thing I have in my head is that the trustees, I think it was termed a listening session as well. So it's not just an opportunity to just ask questions. I mean, you certainly can. I think it's an opportunity to share your thoughts and your opinions about being a student. You know, at Hamlin, things that go well or that have worked well for you, things that you wonder about, you know, or that could be better. Or also, so it's an opportunity to have that kind of dialogue. It's not just a question and answer opportunity. I mean, you certainly are there to ask questions if you want, but it's really, I think, the trustee, they often, I think, want to come to this type of an event and want to learn from students about what your experience is. You know, what is it that's on your mind that you want to discuss with them as well. So it can come in a lot of different ways. I guess it would be my maybe advice or thought about using this opportunity for that as well. They may have questions for you. In fact, there might be a point in time as a strategy in this that you might want to say to them, do you have questions for us as students that we can respond to? So it might be another way to throw that. But I will just share with you all that this, in my time here, it's the only time we've ever had a listening session with the trustees where they honestly have come here with the intended audience of being here with HUSC and listening to students and responding to dialogue and questions that you have. Outside of the 100 Who Influence, you know, that's been pretty much the dialogue or the opportunities for conversation. So I think this is a really groundbreaking, important program to take advantage of.
I would say along with that, in knowing that these individuals, the trustee members, the board members, they're the ones who make decisions around what buildings get built, what tuition will be in the future, what academic programs, majors, and minors are offered here. I think the question for you to think about is what information do you want them to have about your college experience as they move forward in making these decisions? What about Hamlin is important for you? And what do you think they need to know when they're sitting in their rooms, in their offices, and they're making decisions about what majors we offer, how much it costs to go to school here, what the next building that they build, and where it should go. What do you want them to know and have as their reference point when they're making these decisions in the future? So definitely think of it from that perspective, instead of trying to come up with a million questions to ask them. What do you want them to really know about your experience here?
In addition, go ahead.
I would just like to say a comment. I just want to say that do not be intimidated by trustees. If you've ever been to the 100 Who Influence, they're really nice people. They're really friendly, really nice, and they're really helpful. So don't be scared to ask questions. No matter how little you think the question might be or how important, they really do take it into consideration. So just have that in mind. So ask questions.
A lot of the information stuff that we're talking about right now will also be sent out to you, individually, including some of the questions that you're exactly looking up. So look for an email from Rico probably within the next 24 hours. That's your deadline. Otherwise, questions, comments, concerns?
Is this for a different open forum?
This is for trustee forum still, but if you have another topic afterwards, we can definitely talk about it. Okay. Now.
Or this can actually just be an announcement, and it's unfortunate that Dad left. Sometime after Easter weekend, after this weekend, an announcement will go out about some new positions and a new initiative coming out of student activities regarding services for commuter students. We will be hiring a small staff of anywhere between 16 10 and 15 students who will work within student activities next year to look specifically at the needs of our commuter students, so to provide services, programming, opportunities that focus on the development of our commuter student population. So that will be coming out probably after this weekend, so sometime next week. One of the things that I always tell people is that you have to look at your email, you have to read what's happening, because chances are that is where it is announced, that's where the positions will be advertised. And so if you're not reading that, you won't hear about it. Because that's always a challenge of making sure we get the word out to people, and that is the primary way that we have to communicate with the student body right now. So keep an eye out for that.
Just kind of so we've connected with commuters is I was working with on some of our students here on HUSC before this year about living off campus, another element of commuting. So living in the neighborhood, rights and responsibilities of renters, working with landlords. We hosted, HUSC did, 2, workshops where we talked with students about, their rights and responsibilities, had attorneys there to talk about leases and so forth. And to continue that, we've moved this whole physical bulletin board for renting spaces off campus right next to our door. And the Dean of Students Office are in process of trying to create a website, trying to enable students who want to live off campus, get information about living off campus, and have resources to have more information. So it's tied to what I think Wendy's going to do. Through our staff out here, they work primarily on social engagement and programming, but working together to make sure that we are really trying to fulfill what I think are twofold needs for our commuters. There are those commuters that want connections, programming, and space in the Anderson Center, and then there's the elements about living off campus, and we're trying to work on those as well. And I think we continue to look at what can we do. One of our biggest challenges is what's our role in those of you who live off campus connecting our students with neighbors and creating relationships with neighbors that are positive and one that goes in the right direction. That has been brought to us by a few students who say that there is that need, and so that continues to be a topic of discussion and an idea that we need to resolve as we work into our summer.
Anything else for open forum? Announcements. Relay for Life has already been talked about. Provost dinner is coming up. So a really awesome opportunity to actually invite the Provost's house. That his wife makes. She's a really good cook.
She's really good.
Yeah, take some Jeremiah, the greatest foodie of all time. She's a really good cook. Also, you can watch Alex freak out about the Provost's puppy again, which is by far one of the most adorable things you can ever watch in life. Next time, I'll shoot the video for you everyone so they can see that. But anyways, it's May 9th. Lucas, you know what the time is on it?
It's 5 p.m. I'm almost positive. Miko, can you confirm that? Okay.
It's an excellent opportunity. We'll talk about riding shares. We do that time in the future.
I just want to clarify for everyone that all of the people who were disapproved and who are trying to reach out to the reps that we're elected for next year are all invited to this, because it was kind of conceived with being not a formal transition thing, but an informal thing, so that the provost would get to see kind of the old and new people. So if you were just approved here, put this on your calendar and you're invited.
I actually have reached out to the board and to the new representatives, and I have a list of who can and cannot attend that I will give you.
I need to know these things.
It is definitely at 5 p.m.
We got 4 people. I mean, it's definitely.
Okay, so I don't know how many people are aware of like the Mr. Hamlin pageant that's coming up. It's hosted by Delta Tau. I thought that this could be a really good opportunity if we were to pick somebody from HUSC. If any males in HUSC want to be a part of it and represent HUSC in the Mr. Hamlin pageant, it might be kind of fun to one way to get our name out, since there'll be a lot of different Hamlin students there at this event. Are there any males you're interested in?
I nominate Miko Taylor.
Wait, what?
All in favor?
Aye. Motion passes. Nico, you're the half the package.
There's
I'm
a
ready.
motion on the table, Greg.
Not even me.
Amin.
I would do it. I'm ready to do it for
He's
HUSC.
already signed up. Aren't you?
Huh?
He's doing it for something.
Yeah, I'm signed up for HUSC already.
Amin.
Okay.
Other than that,
You got the date wrong for the trustee vote.
that's the wrong.
It's not April 2nd. It hasn't happened yet.
May 9th.
20, that's 21st.
April Fools was a few weeks ago, dude.
Right? Okay, so anyways, April 21st, trustee forum, 11:30?
11:30, yep.
11:30, Anderson, 111.
Last thing. So I need students. I was not able to get everything necessary together to set up a committee for the staff and faculty award today, but I'd like to by next Tuesday. In the meantime, after the meeting, could everyone who would potentially be interested in being on the staff and faculty committee come talk to me so I can get your names? We're going to have to meet sometime between the last week of April and the first week of May to make the decision, and I'm looking for maybe 5 or 6 people. So come talk to me after the meeting, I'll write down, and then I'll figure out who can meet. I need to find a time where we can get enough people to meet, and that might decide who's in the committee, but please come talk to me afterwards.
I have to, like, after the GA's dismissed announcements. PRC, please come get posters from me. So Alex, I don't say is not here, block. And then, for the newly elected board, if I could get a group photo and then individual headshots, I'll try and make it snappy and also go to class I do. So, yeah, just pictures, come find me.
Anything else for now?
There's a blood drive on Thursday. Motion to dismiss or adjourn.
Sweet.